it all comes down to this. This is our final match in our first group of today. And it comes down to these two players. Cure for Jin Green Wings was able to defeat his opponent. A really long and well played out Terran versus Protoss, and now he's up against a StarTel player Panic. But Hurricane, the teamless Protoss, falls 2-1, and really got a feel for the guy. He's teamless, and I have no idea where he's going to end up now, but definitely not in Code S. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, it was a very short Code A season for him. Of course, with a change in the format in the group stages also means that you have one showing and you need to make that count. And Hurricane, unfortunately, was not able to really do that. Cure and Panic, they both still have a chance to go to Code S, and it's going to be decided in this best of 3. The starting map is Heavy Rain already, which we saw in the last series being picked by the Protoss player who went for the point build, tried to fake out the Terran a little bit and got an advantage in the game and took the map.
Could see Panic do something very similar on this map. Could also see him just play straight up. One thing we could see that we haven't seen at all on this map is a one-base soccer play, and all in. Let's find out who takes game number 1 and the early momentum in the second Terran versus Protoss here at GSL Code A.
Panic versus Cure.
And starting to the bottom of the map, we have the Terran player for Jin Green Wings. It is Cure, successful in the best of 3 in the losers match against the Protoss player. He defeated Hurricane with the 2-1. Now he's going up against an opponent in the same matchup. Starting to the top left for StarTel, we have Panic. Lost to Roro in the losers match. Was able to watch those games that were just a few minutes ago played between Hurricane and his opponent.
Yeah. Well, see how he changes things up. I want to see if we see any more mech from Cure. I don't think we will. I think that was really just one build planned for one map, Frost, that he hasn't even picked again yet in any of these series, so I think he's just going to play a standard bio, which he showed that in the late game, if he gets any edge, he's actually really strong at controlling. Some really nice EMPs and just building the composition that he needed. Also controlling the high ground where his opponent was mining, even when he couldn't attack it directly.
And for me, the biggest question here is if Panic is going for Twilight Council and goes for the Blink build as well. Because that seems just to be the go-to build on Heavy Rain. Seems to be what every Protoss player is currently doing. And then, of course, you have to make the choice of either committing fully to the attack itself or trying to transition out of it, which is exactly what Hurricane was doing on the map. Cure tried to defend with 4 bunkers, so he really committed to the defense. And I don't think that Hurricane would have been in a position where he would have been able to break through, just also because the stim upgrade was already done.
Oh yeah.
But
well,
Panic might decide to do exactly that.
Yeah,
and
he also like kind of faked it out, right? And then he just transitioned out of it. And if we see a one-base play with Blink, maybe even, that could be something that is so difficult for Cure to defend. He wants to find out, though, what it is he's up against, as do we. And we're just going to have to wait. Of course, the Reaper is almost done. We'll fly across the map, or hover, I guess you could say. It's not quite flying. Another thing about being a Reaper is you feel like you're flying, but you're really not. You're only jumping or hovering.
It's always so funny for me, the nicknames that they have. I feel that we should call him the Doctor.
What, the ID for Cure?
Yeah.
I don't know what he's trying to cure.
The illusion.
He could even be like trying to cure Meat Man for all I know.
His opponent's illusion of being able to win the game.
And don't panic.
Yeah.
It's just a Reaper. The Stalker will come out and ruin the Reaper's day.
He needs just that one big stamp. You know, we call him the Doctor, and every single time he wins a game, there's just this big stamp that appears on the screen. Cured.
You want Code S? You got Code S? I can cure you of that.
Yeah, I can help you with that, no problem. Help's on the way. Well, bad puns aside, like, right now we have Panic moving out already and trying to put a little bit of pressure on. That Reaper has other plans, but with another shot he could have actually taken that out. Not quite, but like, this bunker should shut everything down though. We already have the Mothership Core in a position where he spotted that, and he is still going down with his... He's walking back with the Stalker. What does he send down? The Zealot and?
Mothership Core, I think.
There's something else. Not quite sure what, but...
No scout on this,
but that's the second Zealot, I guess. The second Stalker, I guess. He comes the Reaper into the main base for another scout, and he sees the Stargate, so no Twilight Council opening from Cure in this match. Sorry, from Panic in this game.
just checks up here, see if there's anything he can pick off. There's not. And one of the reasons why a lot of Terran players can at least feel comfortable that their add-ons are not going to be picked off. They always build their barracks in the main, away from the wall. Something we saw at the beginning of Heart of the Swarm. People are just starting to lose their depots, starting to lose their add-ons, taking some damage because they built their barracks at the top of the ramp, because that was quite common in Wings of Liberty. But
yeah, we've seen a couple of games decided by that. What was that match where Björn was playing? This two-player map that we had? I actually forgot already.
Oh, it's been a while. I can't remember.
Yeah, Zerg moved in, and the stim upgrade was so exposed that he could just simply snipe it, and if he would have spawned at the other position, he would have won the game because of that, because the other one would have faced the other direction. We talked about that back then a little bit. Nice pick off here with the Reaper, blocking with the probes, taking the Reaper down. That was actually really well done. Second Oracle is being built now, and the first one on the way, but we have a missile turret already produced.
And 5 Marines should be enough, actually, to ward this off.
Another Marine moving in, and the Oracle goes back, but takes down 4 units.
Yeah. And the second Oracle, though, is going to come into the main, try to find the sweet spot, and the Marine count lowered by this means it's going to be a little bit tougher to defend. There's a Twilight Council. It's a very delayed one, but it could still be for a Blink build, because if he eliminates a lot of Marines rather than Harvesters, that makes this so much stronger. He's just going to fight the Marines here with double Oracle, I think. He's considering it.
Yeah, it's dangerous though. There are quite a lot of Marines, and with guard targeting, Kier should be able to force those back. And ooh, that was close. That injured Warp Prism, sorry, not Warp Prism, but of course Oracle, nearly taken out by their newly spawned Marines.
Yep. Gets a Marine here, gets an SCV there, tries to find another spot where he can pick off another worker. Oh, so close to death, but gets away.
And with the double Oracle, you can later on really get a lot of revelations off, and also, of course, try to move in as soon as there's the third base and maybe get a few kills there, maybe pick a building SCV off. He's still around in the main base and is still trying to get a few kills. He gets 2. Oh, but nearly loses both of his Oracles. He's doing a really good job at keeping those lives, and 8 kills in total.
It's interesting, the Oracle is a light. Oh, wow.
Okay, and that's it.
Whoa.
He was not happy about that.
No.
I mean, that looked really good for him at first. Doing a bit of damage, getting out of there. You have that constant threat there that you can send the Oracle in again, and the Terran player has to worry about it. It's also Revelation, which is great later to just keep track of your opponent's movements units. But right now we have a situation where Panic just lost them without actually having... There was no need, really. He was just trying to get them back, and the Terran player anticipated that move and intercepted them.
I was going to mention earlier that Oracle is a light mechanical unit that's also psionic. I think that's the only unit in the game that has all those attributes like that. Maybe the Mothership, but I'm not sure. The Mothership Core might be a... no, it's armored, though, so it doesn't have those 3 exactly like that. Just something I was thinking about as I look at these attributes at the bottom. Which doesn't actually matter because you can't be sniped or anything like that, and psionic doesn't really affect anything. But it's light. That's the most important part. That's the most important attribute it has. By the way, we have a massive gateway commitment here off the 2 base with a ton of possibility for damage with that storm. And he's also getting +2 armor. Already has +1 armor and charge.
Yeah, and we have a double drop going to the main base that could not only do damage but also scout what's happening here and then give him a bit of time to prepare.
Already fully unloaded nearly here. Feedbacks could be a problem.
Yeah, and there goes the first and the second one. Is he moving back here? Could snipe the medivacs, doesn't do it just yet. The stim is good and there's a lot of DPS now, takes down the pylon and is working on those zealots. Going to safety now, not enough damage output here with a lack of stalkers.
Yeah, lack of stalkers, and there just wasn't enough energy on those medivacs, funny as that sounds to say, for him to kill them, because the feedbacks didn't do enough damage and then he didn't have enough stalkers. This pressure is actually doing a ton for Cure, because Panic is trying to gear up for this attack. He didn't have a lot of warp ends just yet, and if he just keeps taking away the momentum from this build-up that Panic needs to get this push going, and Panic's also in a position where he's stuck on 2 base against 2 base and doesn't have that that push coming the way he wants to. He tries to bait units in the main base, does not trick him at all.
Nice move. Yeah, he didn't care about that at all. And now we have the army supply in favor of Cure, but he still has to wait because the Photon Overcharge is still active, trying to snipe one of the High Templars, and he actually succeeds. Gets the High Templar here and baits his opponent, or tries to bait him into the Widow Mines. First storm goes down, the second one too, and those are much better than the storms that we saw from Hurricane.
Yeah, the storms are just so annoying for him right now. That SCV killed a probe, that's really funny to watch, but He's going to be hard-pressed to actually go in here and finish the game off. I really like how he has these Widow Mines at the front. We're not really seeing anybody else do this to siege up with Widow Mines like we're seeing Cure. It makes it so much harder to commit to an engagement for a Protoss, and it makes Archons really, really scared.
Second photo on Overcharge was baited out, and he has the medevac count that he could always just lift in the main base.
Gets another Zealot or two there, damaging them a little bit.
Army size is pretty scary. Kuro has 80 army supply against 50. 58 actually, thanks to the last round of Warpins.
His army is not compositionally stronger, but it's just the overwhelming amount of units he has, and why he can do this is because he just has so many
Oh, nice. High ground, high Templars for the storms and feedbacks. Job well done there by Panic. Really keeping the Terran player at bay, and we have at the bottom left another round of Warpins with the Zealots. He can move into the third base and actually take that down. It's not completed yet.
Those Widow Mines, man, they're like mini siege tanks that do bonus damage to shields and also to help deal with light units. This is, dare I say it, a serious problem though.
Yeah, this is big. He's going to force a cancel on that command center. At the same time, he forces back the Terran army moving in, and those Widow Mines getting another additional shots off, but most of them are actually in cooldown. We have the Zealots just rushing into the mineral line of the natural and now taking care of most of those Marauders. We have the Widow Mines immediately being burrowed, and they can finally help against the Zealot run by here.
Yep, Zealot run by finally going to be shut down. Meanwhile, Panic moves out with the rest of his army on the chase here. Widow Mines still alive outside of the natural. They could actually go in to try to be more aggressive at the probe line. He's going to fight against these Archons. Some of them weakened shields from those Widow Mines earlier. He's going to lose, looks like all three of them, possibly. Two of them go down.
Two of them go down. The Zealots charge in again. We have more units on the high ground just waiting for the Protoss to engage, especially with the two Widow Mines present.
Just has so many Widow Mines here that it's hard for Panic to even move out of his main.
He cannot send reinforcements over. He has to warp everything to the bottom right now. He cannot send any other kind of type of unit there.
I mean, if he wants to, he's going to have to clear out the minefield. He has an observer, but he's going to take a ton of stalkers. I mean, it's going to take some time. He starts to target them now.
He doesn't have to send anything over since the only units that he's relying upon are Gauge units anyways. Nice. That was good. But the second one is already in.
Oh, that's so funny that it comes up, but he could lose it.
And it does.
Oh, he still has enough hit points to hold, but that was really funny. I thought he was really going to get it.
Yeah. But he still has to fend off this army.
No, the army is still massive, but again, compositionally, the Protoss army is better. It's just about the size of it, the sheer bulk of all these Marauders with so many hit points.
And there is only Storm. There are no Colossi yet, so he's relying on the Storms. But how many High Templars does he actually have at this point? I can see four in total. Okay, there we have the production, sorry, the unit tab again. And also a War Prison that can be used to save them. But there are no ghosts yet.
This is going to be for a Storm drop later, probably.
Yeah. I love that he actually builds cannons in the main base and makes sure that dropping into the base is going to be difficult for Q. I really, really like that.
Alright, triple drop. How many energies left on those medevacs? That's the question.
Not a lot, but he doesn't commit. Doesn't even have the afterburners. He's just trying to force a cancel on the Nexus.
He's not going to get it, though, I don't think. The Widow Mines help out a little bit here. The drop's actually coming out a little bit later, going to give so much more reinforcement power to this, and now he's going to probably get that canceled. These High Templar could storm from the high ground.
Yeah, they could, but that Nexus has to be cancelled. He has to do it soon. We have the Storm, on the other hand, in the main base, and oh my god, most of the SCVs are down. There was 20 Harvesters that he just killed there. They cancel, forced on the third base for Panic.
Yeah, does finally get that down. The worker count 55 to 32 now. Warp Prism falls as well.
Harvester count is massively in favor of Panic now, of course, as you just said.
But he is going to have that third command center ready soon. He's making it into an orbital right now. He's going to have those mules. And he's just still has this massive army he continues to trade with. He's dodging storms so well, and the Widow Mines actually start to add up in efficiency.
One problem is really that the high ground with the High Templars is just such a threat to that bio army. If he tries to move into the natural, those High Templars on the cliff will immediately start their storms.
I think if he can get a third base up, secure that for just a moment, he needs to get Ghosts. And it looks like he's already starting that. 2 Ghosts on the way. His +3 attack is halfway done. There's a lack of armor for the army of Cure, but there's a lack of attack for Panic. So both players like at 3-1 and opposite spectrums in just a moment.
That third base is also coming into play now for Cure. The problem for him, of course, was that he lost a lot of the Harvesters, but at the same time, with the triple orbital command that he has, the mules make up for that. He has to neglect his scanning for a few minutes, but that's something that he can afford to do right now. He knows that he was able to force that the cancel on the third base, maybe even trying to just send a few units over to force that again. But we have the Terran player also a second starport being built because he realizes that he's up against Colossus now, and the Viking production has started.
Yep, Viking production has started here. Second starport as well, right on top of a reactor, so we can go into four starport units at a time. All of the tech is done for Panic except the attack upgrades. His +2 attack is about to finish, and then as soon as he gets that third base up, he might even want to consider getting some armor for his Archons, his shield upgrade. It's long distance mining here. This is a big moment for Panic.
Out, so
yeah, and this is a big moment for Panic. This attack here, if he can do critical damage with this, it's going to put him into a decent spot going into the late game. Here we go, Templar at the front, storms galore.
Yo, those storms are really good. These are Seeker missile storms.
Yeah, this is really bad for Cure. I don't think he can actually hold this next wave of units with all of his units on the red.
Low. And he doesn't have a lot of medivacs. He has 5 medivacs. That's not going to be enough. Another set of Storm could actually take down that Bio Army. And this base is going down. He knows that too. He's just trying to move it back and fly into the base. Escapes for now, but this is only the start.
Yeah, Time Warps coming off on this Mothership core are going to be devastating. He doesn't have any high tempo with this army. He has 1 with 2 storms available.
30 Zealots charge in, and those Colossi from the distance do the damage. At the same time, the Terran player in a really bad spot, dropping an army supply like crazy.
Vikings can't close the gap with the Archons there on the way. So many Zealots, like you said. The Colossi, so much range there at the back, picking off the Marauders. And that is going to be game for game number 1 between Cure and Panic.
Good micro here by Panic, saving those Colossi, moving them back immediately. A very nice unit control in the last fight. GG. Panic takes the first step towards Code S in this last best of 3.
Just goes to show that if you look at army size alone and pressure, it's a Protoss player who gets all of his tech out can eventually explode off of those 2 bases, come out there with the Storms, the Colossi, and really sort of push his way through.
Do you really just say size doesn't matter?
Army size.
Alright.
Army size doesn't matter.
Game number 1 ends in favor of Panic. He takes the lead and needs to win 1 additional map if he wants to go to Code S. Cure really fighting his way back after the initial loss against Rodor, going through Hurricane, but now he is down 1 map and he really needs to pull something off here. Frost is his choice, and that is the map where he chose to go into mech against his earlier Protoss opponent.
Yeah, Frost, with his map choice here, and Panic watching this, he's definitely going to do some really, really heavy scouting to find out what Cure is doing. He does not want to fall down the same path that Hurricane did and assume something incorrectly based on what he scouted. He wants to see everything. He wants to make sure he gets a really, really detailed scout of what Cure is doing. I still feel, I don't think he's going to mech here again. I really don't think so. The possibility is there. I just don't see it. We'll find out. Can he tie up the series 1-1? Will he mech? Against his Protoss opponent from StarTale Cure, or rather Panic, this is the GSL Code A.